Good morning, dear students. See, in the last class, we have studied about the data mining task. Okay, so in that, I had told that mainly we have got two kinds of data mining task here. One is predictive task, and second one is descriptive task. Okay, and then we have seen four main that is categories of data mining tasks. That is predictive modeling, and then cluster analysis, association analysis, and then anomaly detection. Okay, so in case of predictive modeling, say we'll be building a model here for the target variables using the that is values of the explanatory variable here. Okay, and then we have seen what are the applications of that. Then we have seen association analysis. See where our main aim is to discover the patterns. Those patterns are going to describe the associated features which are present in the data. And then we have seen what are the applications of that. Now coming to the third task, that is cluster analysis. See, cluster analysis, it is mainly used to group the data in order to create the clusters of observations here, so that the observations which are present in the same cluster, they will be more similar to each other compared to the observations which are present in the other clusters. Okay, and then fourth, that is data mining task is anomaly detection. So in case of anomaly detection, our main aim is to identify the observations, and the characteristics of these observations will be completely different compared to the other observations which are present in the data. Okay, so that is our main that is task or the aim in case of anomaly detection. Okay, and I had given one example where the credit card that is the companies, they will be using the anomaly detection in order to find the credit card fraud detection. Okay, now coming to the next topic, that is about the data. Okay, so see here, data is nothing but, see, as we know, it is a collection of that is real world facts. So that is nothing but a data. Okay, so now then what is a data set? Okay, so data is a collection of data. See, that data only will be stored in the data set, but here a data set will be having a set of data objects here. So the collection of data objects, see, it will be called as a data set. Okay, so then see what are the other names for this data set. See, even see, a data set is also called as a record. See, the record of your that is database table. See, that is also kind of a data set, or it is also called as a point, vector, pattern, and then event. In some cases, we also call it as event, or a case, or sample, or observation, or entity. See, don't bother much about the other names here. See, just try to understand a data set is nothing but, see, it is a collection of data objects. See, for example, see if you got an information of the student marks, okay, in a file, like in the Excel format or in the text format. Okay, so in that file, if you have got the different attributes like name, USN, marks, okay, and then age, gender, address, see all these collection of that is entities and the data objects, so it is going to form a data set. Okay. So apart from this, see in these data objects, see we will be having some features here or the characteristics which are further going to describe these data objects. See, those characteristics or the features are called as attributes of the data objects. So here data objects, they will be described by number of attributes here. See these attributes, what they are going to do, they are going to further describe the characteristics of the object here. Okay. So those that is features or the characteristics of a data object is called as attribute. Okay. See, even attribute is called as a variable, or it is also called as a characteristic or field or feature or dimension. See, just try to remember the definitions here. Don't bother much about the other details. See, a data set is nothing but it is a collection of data objects. Set of data objects is called as a that is data set. Okay, and then see the characteristics or the features. Okay, that are going to capture the basic characteristics of the object. See, those features are called as that is attributes of the data objects. Okay. So now coming to one of the example. So see here, we have got one of the student information data set here. So if you look at this student information data set, okay, so in this, see these records which you have got, that is rows or the tuples. See, those are the rows which are called as objects here. See, these are the objects. See, each row, it corresponds to object here, because it is the data with respect to each of the object or the student here. So these are called as that is objects here. Okay. And then see, each of the record, if you consider here, it has got in its own, that is characteristics or the features. See, those characteristics or features, see, they are called as the attributes. See, these are the attributes. See, here this row, it is called as an object. This is an object with respect to student ID, that is 1034262. Okay. And each of the record, okay, it has got its own features, that is columns or the fields. They are called as the attributes here. Okay. So this data set, see, it is the data set that is going to correspond to the student information here. So each of the student, that is row, it is going to correspond to a student, that is called as a data object here. And each of the columns, see, these columns, that is student ID here, and then the grade point average, see, they are going to further describe these objects here or the students. See, those are called as attributes of the student data set. Okay. So now coming to the next thing, that is attributes and the measurement. Okay. So I told that, see, an attribute is nothing but, see, it is a feature or a characteristics of an data object that is going to describe the data object. Okay. So the property or the characteristics of an object, see, that is called as an attribute. See, if you consider the values of these, that is attributes here, see, they are going to vary. They will not be fixed. See, each and every object, it will be having its own attribute values. It will not be the same for each and every data object here. So it is going to vary. So such property is called as an attribute. See, normally these attribute values, see, they are going to vary from one object to another or from one time to another. Okay, so attribute is a property or the characteristic of an object that is going to vary here. See, either from one object to another or from one time to another. Okay, so it will not be a fixed value here. See, it is going to differ from one object to other object. Okay, so just like in your case of student, say information, see here, see the student ID, it is not fixed here. It will be changing, and also grade point average. See, marks will not be same here. Okay, so this property, okay, or the information or the characteristic, say, of an object, that is going to vary from one object to another or from one time to another. See, that characteristic is called as an attribute. Okay. So for example, say, I'll give some of the examples here. Eye color. Okay. See, eye color is going to vary from person to person. See, normally eye color, see, it will be a symbolic attribute or a string attribute. Okay, so it has got the values like brown, black. See, some people will be having eyes color that is brown. Okay, then black. Some will be having blue, and some people even they have got the green color, and then hazel. See, all these are the attribute values that is going to correspond to the attribute eye color. Okay, so this attribute is going to vary from one person to another. That is with respect to eye color. And if I consider one more attribute like temperature, okay, so temperature is going to vary from that is time to time here. See, over the time, see, in the morning, see, at 8 o'clock, see, temperature will be different. And if you measure the temperature at 12 o'clock, it will be different. And again, if you measure the temperature at 3 o'clock, it will be different. So this attribute temperature, see, it is going to vary from time to time here. Okay, so that is a numerical attribute. See, it is not a symbolic attribute here. Symbolic attribute means that is string attribute. Okay, so the temperature is a numerical attribute. Okay, so this is about the attribute. Now coming to the measurement scale. Okay, so measurement scale is nothing but see, it is a rule or a function, see, which you will be using in order to assign the numerical or symbolic value to the attribute of an object. Okay, so measurement scale, see, one best example I can give you. See, you will be using the weighing machine to measure your that is weight. Okay, or you will be measuring your height. Okay, so using the scale. See, that is also a kind of a measurement scale, that is measuring scale which you are using, or the weighing machine which you are using. See, it will be having its own rule or the function. See, using that rule or a function, see, you will be associating the values to the attributes of an object. See, that is called as a measurement scale. So measurement scale, it is just like one device here. So that device, see, it will be having its rule or a function here. So that rule or a function, it is going to associate the numerical or symbolic value to the attribute of an object. Okay. So now coming to what is measurement. See, measurement, it is a process here. See, process of measurement is nothing but, see, it is the usage of measurement scale to associate the value to the particular attribute of an specific object here. See, measurement scale, it is just like a device, but measurement, see, measurement is, it is one of the process here. See, process of measurement is the application or usage of the measurement scale here. You will be using this device in order to assign the values to the attributes of an object. That is called as measurement. Okay, so measurement, it is a process, see, that we will be using in order to associate the value to the attribute of an object here. So for example, see, bathroom scale, that is nothing but see, your weighing machine. So you will be using that in order to determine your weight. So that process, see, determination of weight, that is called as measurement here. Or I will be classifying the people as male or female. So that is also one kind of measurement. Okay, and then see, suppose in a room, see, if you have got any kind of meeting, so you will be checking, see, how many chairs are present in order to accommodate the people. See, that is also counting the number of chairs present in a room. That is also one kind of measurement. Okay. So attribute is the characteristic of an object. Measurement scale is, it is a rule or a function that we will be using in order to associate a numerical or any kind of value to the attribute of an object. And then measurement is, see, it is the process which we will be using here in order to associate the value to the particular attribute of an object. Okay, so that is one kind of a process here. Okay. So now coming to the next thing, that is about the that is different types of attributes. See, this topic, see, it is quite important from exam point of view. See, it has been asked many times in the examination. That is, explain the different types of attributes. See, it has been asked many times. Okay, so I will be explaining the types of attributes now. So see here, before understanding what are the different types of attributes we have got. Okay, so let us understand some of the properties of the numbers. See, with the help of which we can, that is, classify the different types of attributes here. See here, see, there are some of the that is properties or the operations of the numbers which we will be using here in order to classify the attributes. Okay, so all of you are aware of all these operations or the properties here. Okay, I'll just repeat them here. See here, distinctness. See, it is one of the properties of numbers. So how we are going to measure this property? See, distinctness will be measured with the help of that is symbol, equal and not equal. So using equal and not equal, I can measure this property. And then order, see, order will be normally expressed using less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. And then addition, see, the symbols or the operations are plus and minus. Okay, multiplication, for that star and divide. See, using these properties, we can explain the different types of attributes here. Okay, so actually in one of the question paper, they had asked, that is, mention the different properties or the operations of the numbers and explain the different types of attributes. So this was the question asked in the previous question paper, I guess. Okay, so you need to mention these properties here. So properties are, mainly we have got 4 properties of the numbers here. One is distinctness, and then order, addition, and then multiplication. See, distinctness, we can measure this with the help of the operators, that is equal and not equal. Order, see, normally it will be expressed in terms of less than or equal to, greater than, and then greater than or equal to. Addition, see, operators are plus and minus. Multiplication is, that is, star and divide. Okay, so based on these properties, we will be classifying the attributes into 4 categories here. Okay, so I'll just show that. So see here, these are the 4 different types of that is attributes which we have got here based on the properties of the numbers, that is addition and then multiplication. Okay, and then the distinctness and order. See, based on this, we have got total 4 types of attributes here: nominal, ordinal, and then interval, and then ratio. See, these are the 4 main types of attributes here. Okay, so if you observe here, see, we have mentioned some of the operations which we will be performing on these types of attributes, and also we have mentioned the specific properties which these attributes have got. Okay, so I'll explain them in detail. See here, we have categorized these attributes, see, based on that is properties and the operations of those attributes. Okay, so based on that, we have categorized here. Okay, and one more thing is, see, the operation which you are going to consider. For example, see, if you have got the ordinal attribute, see, if some of the operation or the property, if it is valid for the nominal attribute, then it will also be valid for ordinal attribute. Okay, so in the same way, see, the property or the operation which is valid for ordinal attribute, so it is also valid for interval attribute. See, ratio attribute, it will be having all the properties and the operations which are valid for the nominal, ordinal, and interval. It means that, see, all the properties and the operations which are satisfied by the upper level, that is attribute types, those are inherited by the lower level attribute types here. Okay, so for example, see, if you have got the operation mode and entropy, okay, so it will be satisfied by nominal attribute here. Even you can use that in order to measure even the ordinal attributes here. That is also applicable to these attributes. So the any property or the operation, if it is valid for the that is upper level attributes here, okay, that is also valid for the lower level attribute. So ordinal will be having same properties. Okay, so along with its properties and operations, it will be having same properties which are satisfied by nominal that is attributes. So in the same way, interval will be having along with its that is properties and the operations, it is also going to have the properties and the operations of ordinal and nominal. So lower level attribute types, they will be inheriting the attributes of the upper level attribute types here. Okay, so now here, if you come to the classification, see, we have got two main different types of attributes here. So one is that is nominal and ordinal. See, those are categorized as categorical or qualitative attributes. See, categorical means, see, they comes under normally symbolic attributes. Symbolic attributes means string types of attributes. So those types of attributes, they come under nominal and ordinal. So nominal and ordinal attributes, see, they are going to come under the category of that is categorical or qualitative attributes. Okay. And then coming to the next one, that is interval and ratio. See, interval and ratio, they are going to come under the second category, that is numeric or quantitative attributes. See, we have got two categories here, qualitative and quantitative. See, qualitative means, see, they will be in the form of strings. See, normally they will be in the form of strings. Okay, so and then quantitative means they will be in the form of that is numbers 0, 1, 2 like that. Okay, I'll give the examples, you'll understand it. So just try to understand the main categories here, categorical and numeric. See, categorical attributes, okay, in that we have got two categories, that is nominal and ordinal. And then numeric attributes, in that we have got two categories again, that is interval and ratio. Okay, so now how we can make the distinction here? So exact difference is, see, these categorical attributes, okay, so they will be in the form of that is, for example, strings, but they are not going to have the properties of integers. The properties of integers will not be satisfied by the categorical attributes. For example, see, if we consider the employee ID, see, employee ID, it will be a mixture of strings and the numbers. See, it will not be having the properties of integers here. Okay, so such kind of attribute, okay, that comes under categorical attribute. They will not be having the properties of integers, even though sometimes you may represent them in the form of integers, but they are not going to show the properties of integers here. They are going to lack the properties of integers. Say such attributes are categorical attributes. Okay, and then numeric attributes. Say numeric attributes are going to satisfy the properties of integers. They will be having the properties of integers. Okay, so such attributes are called as that is numeric attributes. So categorical attributes, they will not be having the properties of integers, but numeric attributes will be having properties of integers. Okay, so now coming to the that is types here, nominal. Okay, so nominal attributes, see, with the help of this, you can make the distinction among the objects here. You can differentiate one object from the other object. See, such attributes are nominal attributes. So using the values of the nominal attributes, See, you can make the distinction among the different objects here. For example, employee ID, see, using which we can identify the different types of employees here. See, one employee ID will be different compared to another employee ID. In the same way, student ID, see, it will be different for each and every student. So using that, we can easily identify each of the objects here. Okay, and then zip code. See, zip code of the cities, it will also be different. And then eye color and gender. See, all these are nominal attributes here. They will be in the form of strings. Okay. And then the operations are mode, entropy, and then contingency, correlation, and chi-square. These are the operations we can perform on the nominal attribute. Okay. Then coming to the ordinal attributes, see, values of these ordinal attributes, they can be arranged in the form of order here. Okay. Using the less than or equal to, greater than or equal to operators. See, ordinal attributes, you can arrange the values of these ordinal attributes in the form of order here. For example, see, good, better, and best. See, that is one kind of order, right? Okay, so in the same way, your grades, FCD, first class, second class, okay, and then third class, fail. See, all these can be arranged in a form of order. And then hardness of mineral, okay, and then street numbers. See, all these are the ordinal attributes here. And the operations which we can perform here is median, and then percentile, rank correlation, okay, run test, and then sign test. Okay, now coming to the third one, that is interval attributes. Okay, so in case of interval attributes, see, difference between the values will be meaningful here. Okay, so using the plus and minus, see, you can measure the difference. For example, see, temperature I can measure at one point. Okay, and then at some other point, means at some time I will be measuring, and then after 10 minutes I will measure that. So in terms of plus or minus difference, you can measure here. Okay, so there will be some difference. Okay, so using that difference, I can explain about this interval. Okay, and then calendar dates. Even calendar dates, see, I can consider the interval here. So from this date to this date, that is some kind of interval here. So difference of the values will be considering in case of interval attributes. Okay, and then operations are mean, standard deviation, and then Pearson correlation. Okay, and then T and F test. All these operations we can perform on interval attributes. And then for ratio attributes, see, apart from the difference, or that is interval, even we are going to consider the ratios also. Okay, see, operators which we will be using here is that is start and divide. Okay, for example, see, temperature in Kelvin, and then see some of the monetary quantities. Okay, and then count. Okay, age, mass. See, all these are ratio attributes. We can express that in the form of a ratio here. And the operations are geometric mean, harmonic mean, and then percent and the variation. See, these are the four different kinds of attributes which we have classified based on the properties of numbers here. Okay, so that is based on whether they are going to satisfy the properties of the integers. Okay, based on that, we have classified them into two categories, that is categorical and then numeric. Categorical is also called as qualitative, and this one is called as quantitative. Okay. In categorical, see, the attribute values will be in the form of strings here. In that, we have got two types, that is nominal and ordinal. Okay, then in case of numeric, we have got again two types here, interval and then ratio. Okay. So now coming to the next thing, that is the types of attributes based on the number of values. See how many sets of values the attributes have got. Based on that also, we can classify the attributes into three categories here. So previous classification was based on the that is whether they are going to satisfy the properties of numbers or not. Okay, so now coming to the next categories of attributes, that is based on the number of values. How many sets of values the attributes will be having. Based on that, here we are going to categorize, okay, into three categories. Again, we have got three categories here. See here, discrete, and then continuous, and third one is asymmetric attribute. Okay. So in case of discrete attributes, see, the sets of values will be either finite or infinite. The total number of values which are present in the attribute, okay, so they will be finite or infinite here. See, then what are the kinds of attributes they come under this discrete? See, the nominal and the ordinal attributes, they are going to come under discrete attributes. Okay, so nominal and ordinal attributes, see, they will be in the form of strings. Then what are the examples here? See, that is categorical types of attributes, zip code, and then ID number, and then even some kinds of numerical that is attributes, counts, See, all these are examples for discrete attributes. See, sets of values, number of values in case of discrete attributes will be finite or infinite. Categorical types of attributes like strings types of attributes, they are one of the examples for discrete attributes. See, this odd, nominal and ordinal, see, these are the examples for discrete attributes here. Okay. So, and some of the discrete attributes, even they can be represented in the form of integer variables. See, for example, see, if you consider the binary attributes here, see, binary attributes will be having only two integer values here. Either it will be 0 or 1, or if you consider the strings, it will be either true or false. Okay. Or if you consider in terms of yes or no, okay, that is also a kind of binary attribute, male or female. See, all these are binary attributes. Okay, those are examples for discrete attributes only. So discrete attributes which are of the type, that is, which are having only two, that is, values. Okay, 0 or 1, true or false, yes or no, okay, male or female. See, all these are examples for binary discrete attributes here. Okay. So binary discrete attributes, they will be represented in the form of Boolean variables here or integer variables, either 0 or 1, true or false. In that format, we are going to represent it. So discrete attributes will be having either finite or infinite number of values. Second type of attribute is continuous attributes. Okay. So in case of continuous attributes, see, attribute values will be represented in the form of real numbers. See, real number stands for floating point numbers. See, all the attribute values which are having floating point values or floating point variables, see, those attributes, they come under continuous attributes. See, in case of discrete attributes, see, we'll be having whole numbers, integer numbers, or even they can be strings like that is zip codes or your employee ID. See, all these are whole numbers or they come under discrete. In case of continuous, see, we will be having real numbers here for representing the attribute values. Okay. So they will be represented using floating point variables here. So examples are, see, temperature and then your height and then weight. See, all these are real numbers here. Temperature and then height and then even sometimes they will be having whole numbers. See, even integer also comes under floating point numbers. Okay. So normally here, all the real numbers, they are going to come under continuous attribute types. Okay. So as I said, see, among this nominal and ordinal, see, they are going to come under discrete attributes, and then interval and ratio, they are going to come under continuous attributes. Remember this one. Nominal and ordinal are, that is, discrete attributes, and then interval and ratio. Interval and ratio, they are going to come under continuous attribute. Okay. So now coming to the third type of attribute, that is asymmetric attributes. See, as the name says here, asymmetry. Okay. So in case of asymmetric attributes, see, we will be having the attribute values here, where we will be more bothered about non-zero attribute values. We will not bother about the zero valued attributes. We will be considering only the non-zero values for our further processing. So such attributes are asymmetric attributes. So in case of asymmetric attributes, only presents a non-zero attribute value, see, it is regarded as important here. I'll give you an example, you'll understand it. See, where we will be considering only presence of values. If you have got a zero value, that will not consider. Only if there is some value present, so that value will be regarded as important for us. Okay. For example, see, in your, that is course. Okay. So if you are maintaining a record where I want to that is record the student whether he has taken the course or not. So for example, say, I will give you in general words. For example, in our branch, in our college, we have got total 5 branches. Okay, so that is CS, EC, okay, mechanical, civil, and then electrical. Okay, now I want to maintain the student of records here. So where I want to find whether a student has recorded for that course or not. That is whether he has recorded for CS or EC or mechanical or civil or next one, electrical. Okay. So now each student record I will be maintaining here. Each student name will be present. See, in front of that student, I will be recording as 1 if that student has taken the course. Okay. And the other values will be recorded as 0. Okay. So, and after storing all the values, that is the number of courses which is taken by the students, Okay, so we'll be filtering only those values which have got the value 1. So we'll be bothered about only the values which are stored as 1 here rather than which are 0. Okay, so that is one example here. Okay, so same example we have taken here. So that is a student that is record we have considered, and we are recording whether the student has taken the course or not. If the student has taken the course, then that value will be recorded as 1, and if he has not taken the course, that will be recorded as 0. Okay. So now how many students have taken the course? In order to find that, we'll be filtering only the records which have got the value 1. That is, we are bothered about the non-zero values here. We are not bothered about the 0 values. Okay. And if you have got the binary attributes where you will be considering only non-zero attribute values, see, those binary attributes are called as asymmetric binary attributes. Okay. So asymmetric binary attributes are nothing but those are the attributes where we will be more bothered about the presence or the non-zero value. Okay. So this is about the types of attributes. Okay. So next topic. So I will discuss in the next class. See, before that, I will take your attendance. Just wait for 5 minutes.